Welcome back to another Post Media Senators One-on-One. I'm Bruce Garrioch, pleased to be joined today by Senators Chief Executive Officer and President Cyril Leeder. And Cyril Leeder, as we speak today, the Senators are sitting in the first wild card spot in the Eastern Conference and poised to make the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word. I apologize if I'm.
We're saying it. We're touching wood a lot, but we're saying it. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? You can't. John Muckler used to say, Cyril, you can't be afraid to say playoffs, right?
No, that's true.
But you must be happy with the position that this team is in right now.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, my responsibility really is on the business side of the operation, but the business and the hockey operations go hand in hand, and there's no better marketing or tonic for the fortunes of the hockey club than a winning team. So it's great to see.
How has it been for business, the success on the ice? I think we ran into each other in the hallway a couple weeks ago, and I think you sent me a text saying you'd had 11 sellouts at that point.
Yeah, we're having a lot of success, as you can imagine. There's a lot of interest in the games. I'd say the last 10 games, really after Christmas, we got through the World Juniors and the first couple of games in January, and then the last 10 games have been great. The attendance has not only has attendance been good, but the atmosphere in the arena. You're at the games, you see it. It's an electric atmosphere. The fans really sense that there's something special happening and something great about this team, and that really, they feed off each other. The players sense it as well. You can't talk to a player after a game that they don't mention how good the crowd was and how exciting it was to play in that environment. So there's something great been happening the last 10 games, and that's been good for us. Obviously, we want to fill the building, but really what we're focused on is really growing our season seat base. We do have one of the lowest season seat bases in the league, and it's been getting better the last 2 years. We're still well below the league average, but we're making progress. And I guess the best barometer has been, in the last 5 weeks since we started the renewals and the team's looking like it, has a chance to get in the playoffs. We've added more than 500 new season ticket holders. So that's big. That's a big number. We have done our renewals for next year. That's trending towards a more than 90% renewal. And we've gone out to our season seat holders already with the playoff ask and who wants to buy their playoff tickets. And we've had a very high, as you could imagine, high adoption rate there. It's been 8 years since we've been in the playoffs. So, the season seat holders are anxious to get to those games. So they're really buying those seats.
Well, and you talk about season tickets. How do you continue that momentum?
Yeah, it's more of the same. We've got a good team here that that work on our ticketing group. They work hard. They've got they call it in sales terminology, it's a pipeline. They've got their pipeline. These are people and fans that either have lapsed and let their accounts go dormant over the last few years, or they're new businesses or new individuals that have been expressing interest in games, or they've come to 1 or 2 or 5 games and are now saying, I'd like to get playoff tickets. How do I do that? And the short answer is the easiest way to ensure you get the best playoff tickets at the best price is to be a season seat holder. So again, we're going into that window now where we're going to be into April with hopefully in a playoff spot. And if we qualify, we think that will add another layer, another big bump in our season ticket base as well.
Well, I was going to say to you, Cyril, there was probably a time where you wouldn't have wanted 8 of 9 home games in April, right?
No, there was a time I could tell you exactly when it was. It's like 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
When, we were almost assured of making the playoffs. You didn't want to have those last 8 and 9 at home because we were going to be guaranteed to be in, and people are going to say, well, I'll just wait and go to a playoff game.
Yeah.
Or our season ticket holders would just say, look, we'll just buy extra tickets for the playoffs and go to those games. So, no, but this year it's a little different. We've got April, we call it the April homestand coming, 8 of 9 of the last 9 games at home, 8 home games in 16 days. So it's going to be busy. But that's good for the hockey club to be home, and it's good for the fans because while a number of those games have less than 2,000 tickets left and will clearly sell out, There's lots of tickets available throughout that homestand, and in the $40 to $50 price range. And I don't just mean a few. I mean there's thousands of tickets for a number of games at that price range. So fans that are wanting to get to a game and be part of that action, that playoff type atmosphere, I would now's the time to get those tickets, and there's going to be lots of them available.
Well, and I thought you used a great word too, Cyril, when you said the electricity is
Yeah,
returned. I mean that the atmosphere in that building right now is something we probably haven't seen since 2017.
it's been a
Maybe
while.
we saw it early in 2018, but
Yeah, your typical game production is kind of hold all your exciting stuff until the third period, because that's when the fans are more engaged and more into the game. Now, right from the puck drop to even the post game interviews, the fans are into it. So as you said, it's a really a special atmosphere, and again something we haven't seen since we've last were in the playoffs.
how much, you talked about getting to the league average in season tickets. How much would success on the ice transfer into? You've always said, I mean, I've known you a lot of years. You've always said the best way to sell hockey is to have a winning hockey team.
Yeah, winning's important, obviously, for what we do. On a business side, though, we plan our operation, we plan our organization, we plan our team as if we're not going to be successful. Like you've got to plan for the worst. So you make those plans, and what happens then is if you do qualify, you do have a playoff run. That's gravy. That's extra. And what it will tend to do is it'll pull forward your plan. We've got a 5-year plan, and our guess is if we qualify this year and make the playoffs, then that 5-year plan we maybe pull a year forward. So instead of next year being year 2, maybe it's year 3. We're already at year 3, so it can pull a year ahead if you have success earlier than you otherwise would have expected.
How much has the presence of Michael Andlauer as the owner helped with, I don't know what the right word is, but bring this organization back to I don't know what the right word is, but back to where people are supporting it more, I guess would be the right way to put it.
Yeah, Michael in the ownership group, and he'd be the first to say he's got a really good group of people here locally and from his network involved with the club. So Michael and the ownership group have been outstanding, both from helping lend that that stability for the franchise really, and then Michael's had obviously he's francophone. He was born in France, raised in Montreal. He's definitely got a French leaning in his background, and he was kind of pushing the organization to be more francophone friendly and do more in Gatineau and the Outaouais. That has helped our operations as well. But basically, where he uses a lot is best in class. He's just tried to instill that in us. Do the right thing over and over again, whether it's on a business side of it or on the hockey operations. And it's bearing fruit there now. You can see some of the moves that Steve Staios, Dave Poulin, Ryan Bonus, and the group have done on the hockey side have helped, have improved the team. And we're trending in the right direction on the hockey side for sure, and the business operations follows with it.
Just is it are you kind of in a position maybe where the business needs to catch up? Is that, I don't know if that's
fair. That's fair. Usually there's a lag, and I always get the question, how much does a playoff run mean for the team financially? Well, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but there's quite a bit of revenue sharing with the league early in the playoffs. So round 1, you share quite a bit of revenue. The real upside for the team is in the following year, because you do 2 things. You grow your fan base and your season seat base. So as I said, we'll be adding more season seat members as we go here. So we got that base for next year, and then there's more excitement next year. Okay, we were a playoff team last year. What can we do this year? There's more excitement earlier in the year. So the financial benefit tends to lag a year. And we'll get the biggest upside will be the year after you make a playoffs or go for a long playoff run.
You one of the things in your file, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, is obviously LeBreton Flats and the move downtown. Kind of where is that? I thought you gave a real good synopsis to the season ticket holders last week, but Where are you kind of at in those discussions?
Yeah, I mean, that was a week ago. I mean, not a lot has changed. We've making some progress, steady progress there. It is a big project. We're in the land acquisition phase right now. Once we get through that, we still have to go through design and financing before, and then approvals, and then we'll get into construction. So there are a bunch of steps that we do have to follow here, and they're not they're not small blocks. These aren't weekly or monthly updates. Some of them will take months, and it'll be years before the shovel actually goes in the ground, and then it's still going to be 24 to 30 months from the start of construction to completing a new major event center. So I guess the update really is we're working at it. It is a focus. We're making some progress, but it's going to take a lot of time before there are any kind of formal updates for the public.
I found it interesting. I spoke with one of the NCC officials after the last meeting, and he was saying that, the way they'd made a deal, Cyril, for the event center downtown, not the event center, the music hall that.
Yep.
Who's doing it?
Live Nation.
The Live Nation.
The Chapters building. Yep.
So that deal was done in June, and wasn't announced until February. So is that just the way the process works? I mean, if you think about that, Cyril, it's 8 months. You're talking about a much larger project. I guess you understand that this might take till the end of 2025.
Yeah, it will. I mean, to get the actual, what they're talking about is they signed an agreement in February, but they weren't able to announce it because it's a conditional agreement. There's a lot of things that have to get done before Live Nation, in that case, or in our case, the Ottawa Senators, are prepared to go forward with the acquisition of a site. So a lot has to get done, and it'll be working through, as I said, those large work blocks of design and financing and approvals that need to get done before you're in a position to actually close and then start digging on the site. So, and you're right. I don't want to diminish that project. It is a fairly substantial undertaking to build a 2,000-seat nightclub. But what we're doing is factors much bigger in terms of complexity, cost, number of approvals that need to have to be managed, and we're building from scratch. So that's a renovation of an existing building. A whole bunch of different reasons why, as you said. Building a major event center downtown on a light rail line in contaminated soil on land that's got a claim by the Algonquins is more complicated. So.
What can you do about trying to figure out how to put this? What can you do on the actual arena project while you're trying to make a deal to build an arena? Do you know what I mean? Like, as far, I guess I'm talking about design and
work. Yeah, we're doing a lot of work on that side. Like we're obviously meeting with potential partners that could help us, whether they're engineers or contractors or people that have expertise on structural or engineering items, seating items. There's lots of different people that'll be part of a project team when we're ready to go. So it shouldn't be a surprise to us, and when we're ready to go, that we need a project team, and we're doing that work now to talk to that group. We're also visiting new arenas that are being built, and making a list. And I always tell our hockey operations guys, when they're in a building, they'll see something they like, take a picture. We're building a file that way to make sure we know what we want. We've got a draft. We call a program. So this is not in pictures, but in words, what you'd like to see in a new building, how many seats, how big it needs to be, how many suites, how many restaurants, how many different dressing rooms. So we're doing that kind of work right now to kind of have our program and our wish list. And then when we're ready to go, we sit down with the design team and we say, here's our program, and here's some of the things we like. Here's some of the things we don't like. Come back to us with a concept.
I think you're fortunate, though. You have a great home right now, right?
Like, we do. Yeah, as Michael said,
you'll probably be there another five years, right? Or
we're definitely going to be here probably 5 years for sure. And we do have a good place here. building's in decent shape. We're touring some folks through here recently, and they all were amazed that it's 30 years old. It's in pretty good shape for a 30-year-old building, and we've kept it up to a pretty good standard. So, moving downtown would be good. I think it'd be good for the club. It'd be good for the city. It would be good for our fan base. But we don't have to move. I mean, that's the message at this point.
Just last question from me, Cyril. What do you think it would mean? You're from Brockville, but you're from Ottawa. I mean, we're both from Ottawa. What do you think returning to the playoffs would mean for this, not only the organization, but for this city?
Yeah, I think there's a genuine level of excitement now everywhere I go in Ottawa and Gatineau, just talking to folks, fans, business leaders, politicians, people of all different stripes. Just there's a lot of excitement around the team, and I think it'll mean a lot. I think hockey means a lot to our community. You don't have to be a hockey fan to have an interest in the fortunes of the Ottawa Senators. So I think it'll be great. I think it's long overdue, and I don't want to wait another 7 or 8 years to get back in the playoffs. Like, I think that's taught us anything that you need to plan the organization that you're going to qualify as often as possible, and you really can't go long periods without making it to the playoffs. So I think it'll be huge, and I think the city will really react to it well, and will welcome, if we can get there, touch wood, welcome playoffs being back on the April calendar.
Well, I appreciate your time today, and fingers crossed for you and the organization, Cyril. Really appreciate it. Senators President and CEO Cyril Leeder, thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Garrioch.
Thanks, Bruce.